Yeah, gravity is a really interesting force, and it's a very different force in nature. So there are four fundamental forces in nature, right? There's gravity, things that pull every mass, all masses attract every other mass. There's the electromagnetic force, the force of electricity and magnetism. There's the force called the weak force that only happens in the nuclei of atoms. And then there's the strong nuclear force, the thing that actually binds the nuclei together. Now, what's interesting about the forces is that gravity is actually a very weak force, but it's long range. Right? Electricity is a long range force too, but electricity only works when you have charged particles. And most of there's just as much positive charge as there is negative charge in the universe, or to very close approximation. And so most things become electrically neutral, and then there's no long-term electrical force because there's nothing charged. Everything's electrically neutral. Gravity is the only thing that can actually reach out across big distances and start pulling things in. Right? Now, because it's an attractive force, and it depends only on the mass of something, every particle in space will attract every other particle in space. The closer you get, the stronger the force. And so, gravity is a very natural way of organizing material. Things want to collapse. So you can think of a gas cloud in space, or a planet, or a star. It's a fight between the things that want to push it out, which is gas pressure, and the things that want to pull it in. And if there's more force pulling in than pushing out, then things will collapse. And so this has been kind of the story of the universe, this interplay between the pressure outward and the gravity inward. Early in the Big Bang, the uniform soup of stuff, but there was just a little bit of turbulence. And if you collect a little bit of material, it will have more gravity than its surroundings, and things are going to want to pull further. And it's a runaway process. You get more mass, and therefore more gravity, and more mass, and more gravity. And that same thing happens when you make stars. And this is why the planets form in the same way, from the little debris that's floating around the young sun. And once you get the process going, it wants to keep going. The more mass you accumulate, the stronger your gravity, and away it goes, until you just run out of material. Right? Now, gravity is a really good thing, because without it, we wouldn't be stuck to the Earth. We wouldn't have an atmosphere. So we owe our lives to gravity, not only for our formation, but for our continued survival.